somebody else do this. And I thought it was the best way ever of cleaning your truck. And the best way to do it is, and that's it. Didn't know I did magic. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. It is really windy here in the UK. We've got yet another named storm. So yeah, so we're in and once the truck is all nice and clean now we're gonna do some modifications to it. So what we're gonna do is trying to give this chassis more strength. So at the minute, all the force comes up from this tube and it all goes into this point here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put another tube in there to spread the load out all the way up to the front of the shock towers. And also then if we put that other one in there, that ties that bar together to give it a lot more triangulation. But also we are going to shorten the front of the chassis. So if you look in here at the minute, you can see we got this bar here that goes across to the other side. We're going to put another one on top of this. Going to cut this one out and cut a lot of it away now, and we're going to shorten the chassis back to here and then remake all of this front piece because we have been bending it up here. I don't know why it's suddenly started doing it. I think this tube is quite old, that tube, but it is starting to bend it. So what we first got to do is take everything out the front of the truck. So we're going to disconnect the 4-link bars, take off the prop shaft, take off the anti-roll bars, take off the shock absorbers, take out the axle. We're going to take all of it out. We do that by putting a stand here at the back and then put a ratchet strap at the back, and then we can cantilever the whole of the front of the truck in the air. Okay, quick update. So it's only not been very long at all. So we've got the bonnet off now, we've got the bumper off. We've removed all the wiring for the headlights. We've took off the green strip. So now you can see we've even took off the retainers for the shock absorbers, so that bit stays in. So the next bit we're going to do is take off the shock absorbers, take off the limit straps, take off the anti-roll bar, just connect the brakes, and then we've got to take the 4-link bars off, and then that whole axle can come out in one piece. So we're not going to take the wheels off, we're going to leave the wheels on it and move the whole thing. So here is the front all stripped out. Now the first thing we're going to do is, because we're going to keep walking into this, is we're going to cut all this brackets off. So this is what holds, that bit holds the bumper and that bit holds the front of the front clip. But you can see where the problem is, where it's started to bend, it's buckled up the plates on the end. Yeah, so that's the first thing we're going to do, is chop that off, just because otherwise you're going to walk into this all the time. So let's get the plasma cutter out and cut it all off. Big hammer, and it should come off. Now, the reason I use a plasma cutter to cut it off, because it's been rolled over and crashed, if you use an angle grinder, what happens is it pinches the blade. So if you just cut it off like this, you can use an angle grinder to clean up afterwards with a flat disc on there. So now we've got that bit clear out the way, the next tube we've got to take out is this one here. So it doesn't really matter about this end, we can cut that end off quite nastily because we're not worried about this one. This one here we do have to clean up. So we're going to cut it up here and then we're going to have to clean it up with an angle grinder. So that end we're not worried about. This is the end that we want to try and keep nice and clean. chop this piece out a little bit further and then we can wiggle and get the other end out. Where's the hammer gone? So that's that tube out. So now we can come in there with a flat disc and then clean all this up so it's all nice and smooth. So I've made those fuse cuts. That makes it a lot easier now when we're walking past it. You haven't got nasty bits of metal sticking out there. So the next thing you've got to do is use the angle grinder. Now, the problem with the angle grinder is they make lots of sparks, a lot more sparks and abrasive bits, and I don't want to scratch the monster truck. So normally I've got a welding blanket that I can put over the top of it. Now, the problem with the welding blanket in this chrome body is it will probably even scratch the body. So what we're going to do now is mask it up with masking paper, and then we can put the welding blanket over the top of it. Seems a little bit silly, we're wrapping it in paper, but it's the easiest way than taking the whole body off, because we only want to work on the front of the truck at the moment. What have you done?
It's got teeth again.
I go away to the toilet, come back. You could have carried on wrapping it up, but no, you had to go and give it teeth again.
I'll start writing SWA.
When we wrap it up, you're going to do all the graphics on it?
Yeah.
All right then. BK graphics up in the window.
Yeah.
Lucas oil on the back.
Cardboard thing.
Right, so I've just dropped this new tube in there. At the moment, you can slide backwards and forwards, and we want to line it up with the tube that's underneath. So what we've done, we leveled out the chassis, and now we get a plumb line, so we put it on the top tube, and we want to make sure it just touches the tube underneath, so we know they're in line. And then what we can do then, which we've already done, is we can mark the tube with a Sharpie, so it all lines up. And the reason we want to be able to do that is because the next bit we got to do is we got to put into the diagonals back in here. But to get the diagonals back in there, we need to be able to slide this tube backwards and forwards. And we always want to be able to put it back in the same place. So at the moment we can slide that always backwards and forwards. We can put this one in one piece, up on those marks there. And then the other one, we're going to put an X in the front of it here. So we're going to put another one that goes through there, up into there. As you can see, I've already cleaned up where we cut up for the plasma cutter. I've already cleaned up this corner already. So we're going to have to clean up this corner. Don't have to clean up these corners because it's all brand new tube. What have I lost again?
Hammer. Hammer time.
This one out now. This is going to be a long one.
What, you cutting now?
I've got to cut this one out now.
Oh yeah.
Because when I put the new tube in, I'm going to put it this way and then slide it that way to get it under there.
Alright. Crack on.
Suck me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I win.
rest of it I've just got to clean up with a grinder because I can't clean that up.
It's like a fossil. It's never been opened before.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've just got to chop the one out on the other side now, and that's then once all the new tubes are in I can chop the front of it off because that's where it's going to end up here.
Quite a big chop. It's like 13-inch chop, isn't it?
Yeah, 13-inch chop, and then of course then we've got to put all the receiver hitch and all that into this piece here because we need that bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got a lot of cleaning up to do up round here now.
Yeah.
It's going to take ages with a die grinder.
Yeah.
Well, it's like being at the dentist.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I've got to clean all this up, get this all nice and clean because we've got to slot the tube right up underneath here so we can weld it all the way round. Might have to even shorten this a little bit, but we can do that and then start getting all the front back in. Just want to show you the progress we've made. So that is how we started off after plasma cutting it, and this is what we like after we finish cleaning it up. So cleaning it up with either an angle grinder with a cutting wheel on it or a flapping disc, or, which is down here on the floor, use a die grinder, and this thing is super loud now. It's got a tungsten carbide bit on the end of it, and it sounds like you're going to the dentist because it is. And that gets really annoying and it really vibrates, but that's the only way we can get underneath because we're leaving the bracket on and we want to remove all the old tubes. So we've been going under here, clearing it all out, and then if you look through here, we've cleared it all out so we can, when we weld it, we can weld back up in here. So I've still got some cleaning to do with this just to get rid of all the paint, but that is all the tube removed, so now we can weld all the way around it when we put it all back together. So I've just got to do the same on the other side, which is going to probably take, how long did the last one take?
About an hour.
About an hour. But that is what we got to do. So yeah, so I've just got to clean all this one up now. This bracket here, what you can probably see, you can see a little bit left of it on there, that is where we used to have limit chains on it, and now we've got limit straps on it. But what I'm going to do, you can probably see on this bar here, it's got some damage on it. I can't remember what that was from, to tell the truth. I think we might have had to put something around it and pull on it at one point. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tie back into this, just in case this tube ever does rip out, because all the weight of the axles is hanging on this one tube. On the back of the truck, it's actually got two tubes in there holding this on, so I might tie it into this so it's not just relying on that, on the two welds all the way around to hold that bar up, just to future-proof this. This chassis on the truck,
About 27 years old, isn't it?
yeah, it's probably getting on for nearly 30 years old. Some of the, well, it's not many of the tubes are original anymore. I've chopped this chassis around many times, and this is yet another evolving thing of Swamp Thing. Okay, so we've started getting it back together now. So I'm starting to mock up some of the tubes. So everything is just placed in, everything's just rested in place. So that is that one in. It's got a little bit of wiggle room on it because we have to be able to move it a little bit, but it's all notched around the tubes. So that one, we already saw we put that one in. We've got this one in on this side now. That's all lined up. Started to get in the braces back up here. So we're going to have, that one's almost in place. It's just got a little bit more fiddling around on it. So it fits in there quite nice. I'm going to come up from here. So we're going to actually put an X in the front. So that one's going to come up from there. And it's going to go up into that. So let's do that again. So it's going to come from here up into that top corner there. And then we're going to do the same on this side. So we've got to put the one in from here up to there now to match that side. Still got to put an X in here yet. So that's going to be in the smaller tube. I'm going to put that in there, in the smaller one. So I'm probably going to just mock this next one up in there and then make the X. And then we're going to put the big 2-inch tube from there up into the corners. And then we've got to move that into here. And then we can chop off then we can chop this piece off, and that's the front of it done. And then we just got to do the diagonals back to the chassis where the axle stands are. So we're getting there. Just thought we'd give you an update. It's really quite hard to film. I don't know how other people do it on time lapse and stuff, because it takes forever. Probably because you're only doing like one tube at a time. And now I've made that one, I can actually make this one a lot easier because I know what this one is, because it's the opposite of that. But making the first one, so like put that one there, probably took me 20 minutes, and the other one only took me 5 because it's, once you've made one, you know exactly what the size it is. So there we go. So there are the 2 bars mocked up. So nothing is welded, everything's just held in place with a couple of magnets. Yeah, really happy how they have come out. Got to put the X's in now, so I've got to do the small ones and the big ones. They're coming up next. Tripped over the extension lead. Probably not the best thing to have on the floor. Alright, so there's the first couple of welds in. So what I do first is I weld the tops first, and then I have to go underneath. Now it's always harder welding underneath because the weld wants to drop down. So this is where you get the sparks drop on you. So I'm just going to make sure the extension lead's not on the floor because we don't want the sparks to fall in the extension lead. That's the first tube all welded in, so let's show you what it looks like now it's welded. So all nicely under there. This was on about where the bits of splatter fall down, so we have to clean all that up. But if you look underneath, there it is, it's pretty clean under there. There's a couple of little bits just to clean off, but that looks really good. And there's the other side, so just got a little bit of cleaning up, and then we can add the tubes that go underneath that. So that's one step. Now we just got to do quite a few more tubes. So there is it all welded on at the front now. So all we're going to do now is get the plasma cutter out and roughly cut this off, and then cut it back to where we want it, and then we can cap the ends, and then we can start to put in all the other tubes that has got to go in here. So let's get the plasma cutter out, cut this off, and then we can carry on. Even that's quite heavy. So now we can come with an angle grinder now and do some nice cuts, get them nice and smooth. Then we can chop this bracket out, and that receiver hitch has got to go into here. Okay, so I've chopped the front off, so that is nice and smooth now. Next bit we're doing is putting in the diagonal. So I've already put that one in, and this one is all mocked into place. So you can probably see there we have to fish mouth it, but to get it in, you have to just cut. There isn't much of it. I don't know if you can see. Let's turn the torch on. Yeah, so you have to cut off the little ear bit. So it doesn't really matter because it's got 3 bits here anyway. So it couldn't have a long piece on it anyway. So you cut that one a little bit short on the fish mouth, and then you have to smack it in with a hammer. So look, there's no welds holding that in, and I'm actually shaking the whole of the chassis. So now we just got to weld that one in, and then we can put in the one that, oh, lift the torch on. Put in the one that goes in there. I'm going to put another one that goes in there. Still haven't decided what I'm going to do to beef up this one yet. I think I might drop another tube in next to it and then weld it to it. That's what's done on the back, and that worked all right. But yeah, so it's quite a bit shorter now. So now I've got the diagonals in the top, and basically you have to work out where the centre of it is. So that's the centre there, and then put the diagonals in. So that's one tube that goes in there, and then we have to join the 2 tubes. And the thing to get it is so it's in line. Yeah, and in the middle of the chassis. So yeah, so I've done that. All I've got to do now is weld it all up, and then we can look at putting the diagonals in the top, and then getting the receiver hitch in the front, and still work out what I'm doing with this bit, because I still haven't decided. So yeah, let's get on with some more welding, and I think that might be it for today, because it's been a fairly productive day, but you know, I think I need a wash.
Let's check the time. Oh, 3:41, almost 4.
Yeah, so it hasn't gone bad, has it?
No.
Been flying around with it today.
Considering we had the front on it at the start of the day, and now it's disappeared.
Now we're this by the end of the day. That's not bad going, is it?
There was a magic bar here, and that's gone.
Right, let's turn the welder on.
Yeah, and then weld this last little bit. Remains of the old thing. It's in the bin now.
Oh, receiver hitch.
Oh, nice.
So I've cut it all off. Just got to clean it all up, and then put that boom. Okay, so we were going to triangulate the front of this up into the top of the shock towers, but it looked really weird. So this is what we came up with. So we got the cross in the front, we got the cross in the bottom, but really, really happy how it's looking. And also now we run out of welding gas, so we started mocking up the bottom tube coming up into there. It makes it look a lot more modern, like a current Monster Jam truck. It's a bit of a hybrid. So this is a PEI chassis, and a lot of the new Monster Jam trucks, they are what make are they? CRD, aren't they? They're a CRD. Always get confused. Some of them are called a Cohen. Then you've got the Team Scream trucks. They are all built by Corey Rummel, who drives one of their trucks. Yeah, so it's a much more modern design, but I really like the way the fronts come out. Still haven't decided yet how we're gonna tie in this tube here where all the limit straps are on. What was it? We're just gonna put another tube in, aren't we? I think that's the easiest way.
Where are we gonna put the tube?
Put the tube in front of this one, and then tie those 2 tubes together.
Oh, it's gonna look weird.
It won't look weird.
Then you've got your cool limit straps, and then it's covered by...
No, it's still be there.
You're ruining my amazing something sticker you can buy on something4x4.co.uk.
Where can you get them?
Something4x4.co.uk.
And also you can get the beanies, but not that type of beanie.
Yeah, not that one.
We don't do that one
You
anymore.
don't want this one, it's dirty.
You definitely don't want that one. Yeah, it's cold, a lot colder in the workshop today, but yeah, so what we're going to do now is take the that bottom bar we put in on the other side and put it in this side and see if they're identical, and then we could just make a template of that one. Because if you pull it out for us, Georgina, if you hold it, I'll pull the stand out of the way. That is the fish mouth we've had to put on the end of it. Spin it over. So, yeah, no, so you can see it. So look, it's a really, really weird shape. This one's not too bad. But yeah, to put the fish mouths on it, we normally use this. So this is my tube notcher. Actually, we should video this. Yeah, so we can push it in there, it adjusts. You can set the angles with it. You can move it around from side to side. Goes in and out. It's really, really good for notching tubes. But the problem we have, especially on this end, is the tube it's meeting isn't a flat tube. It's a round tube down.
Is it this thing in it? Is it this thing?
Yeah, so we're joining it onto here, and normally when you join a tube, you join it onto a flat piece. Well, that isn't flat, so you can't use that machine for doing it, because it uses the roller in the end of it to simulate the tube that you're coming onto.
Where's the other roller?
This the what?
Oh, this is a small roller.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, so that roller's there for the 2-inch tube, which is the big tube, and this roller here is for the inch and a quarter tube. So when we want to notch the tube onto an 1.25 inch tube, we swap the roller out and put that one in. Okay, so made some progress. I keep forgetting where we are up on the build. So I've got this this bar in now. So we've made a template of the one what goes on the other side to make it so they're both the same. And actually we can make all of the ones because they're all for the back. But I'm pretty sure we didn't show you how we made the template. So this is one of the fish mouths, what you can't do on my linisher. So what we do, get a piece of paper, put it round there, work out where it is. Doesn't really matter now, so now we know we can just cut up there at an angle. So I'll just get a pair of scissors and cut up there. And this cut doesn't even have to be straight. It doesn't matter at all. So all we're going to do is get that, overlap it, make it nice and tight on the tube. And ideally you don't want it where the join is. So if I spin that round, all we've got to do now is, Georgina, have you got the pen?
No.
We need a pen. We haven't thought about this, have we?
Oh, it's right there, you muppet.
Where? Oh,
there.
It's over there. What? Anyway, if I was a Muppet, what Muppet would I be? Fozzie Bear?
Fart shoes.
Fart shoes. You'll be Miss Piggy.
Oh, would I?
Yeah.
I suppose I would.
What?
I said I suppose I would.
I would like to be Kermit the Frog because he's green.
Yeah, but you're small. That's Kermit the Frog's small.
Right. Right, so there we go. So all we do now is get the pen, put loads of marks on it, so when you pull it apart we can see where it joins up. Now spin the tube now, so that you want that join at the bottom. So now we know the join's at the bottom, just get a dirty finger, and you can see we're putting a mark on the tube now where the fish mouth is. So then we take that off, get a pair of scissors out, cut that out. Don't need that bit, put it in your pocket. Otherwise, if you drop it on the floor, you have to pick it up. Which you do, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut it, drop it on the floor.
And we're in, come and collect it later.
Come and collect it later. All right, so then we just overlap them back over each other. So I'm going to have to cut another little piece off. So no, we're not going to use that bit at all. So as long as I don't go past there, we know we're all right. Line everything back up, and there you go. So now we can take this off. We can put a centre line on the new tube, because that is the fish mouth we want. So then we can transfer it onto the new tubes. So then you end up with this, and then we write on which end it is. So that was on the cradle end, and that's on the shock tower end. So that's how you make them. So now we just cut the tube to length, and we can put these templates on the tube, and we know they're going to fit, and they're all the same.
On to the next day of the build. I'm currently welding the stuff. We've got this new bar added in for even more strength, which should actually work quite well. I've seen it done on some other monster trucks, and we're going to do the same to ours. So make sure they're the same in the angle and everything. So yeah, more welding and we'll come back in a minute.
So here we are with the truck. So the chassis is now all short on the front, and now we've stuck the bonnet back on, and we've got it propped up with these quite handy. These are adjustable, so you'd like on a caulking gun. And we've got a piece of wood stuck on the top of that, so then we can adjust all the angles. So we've got it all bolted on this end, but we've got no bolts holding on at the front yet, because now we've got to make up the brackets to come from here up to the front of it here. Now that's quite a long gap it's got to go now, isn't it? So yeah, so let's start making these bits. I've already made the brackets that go on here. Where are they? Where are they, Georgina? Oh, there's one sat there. So these are the brackets that we're going to use. It's quite dark under here. So they're going to get welded onto there, and then you can unbolt these. These are just temporary ones at the moment because I haven't got any nuts and bolts. So I've got to my nuts and bolt supplier. But again, so one's going to get welded there. Another one's going to get welded at the top, and they're going to go across up to there. Okay, so we've been putting the bars on the front, so everything is just tacked in at the minute. So at the moment we've got the diagonals in from the bottom. Now we've got to put the one in from the top. I've mocked up the one on the other side. I'm just going to show you how we do it. So we have to actually bend the tube, because otherwise you can't get the bolts in and out. So you can get them out on that one because the bolts come out that way, but because that one wants to go straight there, if you did it in a straight line, you would never get the bolts in and out. So we have to bend it. So this is my tube bender. I've got two sets of dies for it. So at the moment we've got the 1¼ inch dies down on the floor there. That's the big 2-inch dies for doing 2-inch tube. So the way we set it up, I'll open it all up and show you at the moment. So at the moment I've just marked the tube, so that's the 0 point on the tube. So I line that up with the 0, and then I line this top of the tube up with that. Then we get some Lucas Toolbox Buddy, spray the tube. Let's just lubricate it, lubricate the mandrel, lock all that in. Okay, so now it is all locked in. So all we've got to do now is turn the machine on, which is down under here. Set the spring so it'll bend backwards and forwards. So this is what sets the angle of it up. So all I do is press the pedal, hold that piece in. So we're at 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees, 25. I'm going to stop it at 30, back it off, because this will only bend 40 degrees in one go, because we've run out of hydraulic ram. So now the thing has ratcheted itself out, and now we can go again, and we're going to extend it up to 45 degrees. And now to get it to 45 degrees, I take, this is the bit that locks it in place. So if I take that out now and just keep bumping it up, that's 45 degrees, because the angle I want is 35, and this tube springs back about 10 degrees. So we take it past it, so when we let the power off now, so we let it off. That's it, and then we can just spin this all the way around. And we can get our tube out, and that's our bend that we got. So that's 35-degree bend. And then all we have to do now is just put the notches on the end of it, so it's roughly the right length already, and then we can fit it on the truck. So I finally finished the front of the truck. So yeah, so main problem I had to doing it, I'm still on my own. Georgina's not very well today, so I've come down today and finished it off. And the main problem I had was trying to get all the bonnet mount. It was trying to get the bumper to fit. Now I'll flick the camera around and show you what the problem I had. So the problem I had was trying to get where I don't normally have this bar across here, where this bar comes up, it was actually catching the bumper, so I had to notch the bumper out. So all my other bumpers now, I've got to put a notch in it to get it there to sit. And also, because I'm trying to do that, is trying to get the angle of everything right on my own. So my truck, let's try again. Yeah, so that is the corner, that lines up with that, and I have to do the same on this side, and it's slightly a little bit out, so it's a little bit further back on this side, but I don't think that's bad, seeing I'm having to line everything up. Everything is, you can't clamp this thing at all because there's no flat pieces on it at all. That bit's always there, that gap, you don't normally see that because when the truck's built it's a lot higher. So there's all the bar work in now. All I've got to do now is go around, sand it all up, take all the little bits of weld splatter, especially because when you're welding, like up here, weld drops down and it sticks to the bars underneath. So yeah, just going to start sanding this all up, getting it all looking nice, and then we can get some paint on it. So why I have been working on the chassis, Georgina has had the axle in here and she's taken it right down to bare metal and transformed it. It was quite scruffy, the front axle. It gets a lot of damage from all the cars. So this is a really hard enamel paint. It doesn't chip very easily. Yeah, she's done a fantastic job. So I better get on and make the front of the chassis look as good as that, because I've got to paint the front of the chassis now. But thank you, Georgina. That looks amazing. Okay, so before I went home last night, I've got some phosphate primer. So this is grey phosphate primer, really good for on bare steel. So I've painted all the new bare steel. Now I'm just going to go over and quickly sand it over and then paint it gloss black. So I brush paint it. I'm using a new paint. I haven't used it before. It's a Leyland paint. I got it from Screwfix. It's had really good reviews, but I don't know how good it is. So let's just sand this over and then put some black paint on, and then that will be the front of the truck finished. It hasn't taken too long to do it. I think it really, really makes the truck look a lot different. So there is it all painted. Really, really happy how it's come out. The shine off the paint, look at that. It had some good reviews, this is what it is. Available at Screwfix, but yeah, so that looks really, really good. Can't see hardly any brush marks in it. So yeah, so that is part one of the chassis modifications done. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe if you enjoyed that, because we got more to do. So we got to do the back yet, and there's a couple other things I want to change on the truck, and we've got some new bits what we're going to add to the truck to make it look a little bit different for nighttime shows. Going to add some more lights basically to it. Yeah, so I'm really, really happy how that has come out. So yeah, so stay tuned. Back end coming soon.
Suck me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Feeling the looks inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind, just to know what